afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, January 16, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a reverse aging health call tomorrow night, Friday night, January 17, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Lots of us are, how do I put it? We sidestep our emotionality in a lot of ways. It's a natural part of the body. You might want to write down in your own words your commitment to being a more emotional human being. Paste these words on your bathroom mirror so that you can see them and be proud of them. If you're embarrassed to have them up, this simply becomes your opportunity to honor this feeling, dive deeper into it, and through it. This emotional affirmation will help you fully accept yourself as you are and embrace every feeling that you have. Do whatever you can to make yourself start feeling your feelings more. Now, a lot of us won't do that because we're protecting the ego. So we kind of close up with our emotionality. Listen to music that moves you, watch a romantic, tear-jerking movie, or just talk to a friend about where you're truly at in your life, your love life, your relationship with yourself. The goal is to open up and feel all of life. Feel your feelings as much and as often as possible, as continually open up to whatever feeling is there in every situation without judging yourself in the process. If perhaps you feel that you are already too emotional and that your emotions run your life, then great. You've opened the emotional floodgates and have graduated past the first level. Your job now is to feel the deeper peaceful feelings buried beneath your typical overly dramatic emotional feelings. You'll only find these by feeling your feelings all the way down to the very core of your being. The feeling of peace is always here. And when you have discovered how to access this feeling within whatever situation that arises, then you will have truly mastered your emotions and your life. We get conditioned, and it's not like we deem it or we get conditioned. We get programmed. It's pretty typical across the planet, generation after generation. So this is how we form our belief mechanism, how we believe, what we believe, and the things that we don't believe. So a lot of us, you can tell that just by watching how emotionality, the true deep emotions of humanity, are buried. Yes, we have, excitement, ecstasy, many different things in brief. If you'll notice, it's brief. It's not long term. It's great for a while, it fades out, and then we're immediately looking for something to fill it or replace it. And a lot of people are, I guess you would say, it is a little scary for some people to do this, to go deep within themselves and embrace who and what they are, love themselves deeply, forgive themselves across the board, and be deeply caring, compassionate with oneself all the time. And this is why I say in these meditations, be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times, because of the fact that you hear people will say things to themselves, or, they cut themselves down. It's not like they do it, I'm going to cut myself down. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. They just do it. And it's very damaging to oneself to do that, to ridicule oneself. That's why embracing our emotions, watching the ego mind, and not participating in it. Obviously, you'll participate in it, but you're aware more and more of what exactly it is and why it's there. Isn't it interesting that we put an ego mind with these bodies, right? Now, they're illusion, both of them. The ego and the mind are an illusion. So we put that there for what? What purpose? So that we can experience it, and we know the difference between heart-mindedness and ego-mindedness. We have a comparison. Now, of course, most of us, we will allow the ego mind to run us, to direct us. It's not like we're aware of it. It just happens. It's easy to happen. But then some of us will get to a point where we say, this is the ego mind going on here. I know that. Now, ego mind is not your enemy. Okay? It's actually your teacher. And each time you become more sensitive to the fact that, okay, this thought's ego mind. This response that I'm starting to feel, I know is ego mind response to something, to something, someone, or something that takes place, and you have a response. And so once you identify that, you go, I don't care to go there. I'm not interested in it. I'm not ignoring it. I let it pass right through me. But I'm not going to participate in it. I will not allow the ego mind to control and direct me anymore. It's like when the ego mind gets out of hand with all these weird thoughts and stuff that are coming in. You just immediately put your foot down and say, stop. You are not in charge here. And this is it's a reinforcing vehicle, that allows us to slowly but surely master the ego mind. Now, we know how it operates, and we know why it does what it does. What's the root cause? Well, it's highly insecure, and it doesn't believe it's going to ever be able to find peace. And it believes that peace is outside, out there, not in here. And this is why so many of us will experience lives, right? For some of us, long time, comparatively speaking, on this planet. Since our age factors have been greatly reduced. But we experience and then we leave the body. Now, when we come back into another life, another body, we don't have any reference. So we start from scratch. Pretty much, we do subconsciously call upon certain things in past lives that we aren't aware of in that way, but subconsciously we are aware of. And then we live that life, we leave that body, and so on and so forth. See, the soul that we are is real. And the ego is simply its unreal shadow. Now, we all know what a shadow is, the sun, and there's a shadow. And many of us believe that we need to protect ourselves from others to feel safe in this world. We are merely attracting situations where we will feel a need to use this false protection. Now, once we have fully removed the armor across our hearts, we will see there never was anything to protect. Those shields were only limiting you from feeling all your feelings by letting them go. you'll be forced to move forward in your relationships where you'll truly evolve as a spiritual being and can start manifesting the life your heart has only dreamed of. It is a practice. It's a practice for all of us. We decide that, hey, I'm no longer going to go this route. Okay, we're all on the same path. We just experience it differently along the way, each of us. So we choose that. It's a choice. See, you're not going to be forced to do any of this ever. Oh, it might be superficial at times. Well, why not? But until you make a core commitment to yourself that you're going to discover who and what you are, which is the only thing that's real. Everything that changes is not real. Isn't that interesting? I find that statement very interesting. Everything that changes is not real. It's an illusion. We're good at creating illusions. I mean, I think we're the best there is at creating illusions. And we live those illusions, and we experience those illusions. Now, how many of us will say, well, this is an illusion? Very few. Most people will believe that, hey, what do you mean an illusion? This is real. So it's real to them. Now, when we realize that everything is an illusion other than the gods that we are, the pure consciousness, and anything that changes is not real, then we look around and we see all the planets, we see everything in the universes, we see all of it. Now, is it an illusion? Okay, is it an illusion? Do we as a collective consciousness and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever, create these illusions for the main purpose of entertaining ourselves and experiencing? Isn't that? And then when you go up, you touch a tree, or you go up, or you hug a tree, whatever, right? Or you sit by a riverbank, or you do this, you do that, and you're going, I put my hand in the water, and the water's there, and you know the river's soil, whatever you want to call it, that's real, and the birds flying and all this stuff is real. You know, you eat food. Is the food real? You remember there was some of you that watched the Matrix trilogy, and you remember not the fourth one, but the trilogy, and you remember where the one guy who defected from the group was in a restaurant eating a big juicy steak, and he was sitting there saying, "Now I know that this isn't real, but I can taste it, I can experience it as if it is real." And this is what we do. It makes sense that we create everything around us. Now, when we discover that all of this is for our entertainment, and when I mean ours, I mean the collective consciousness, where we house ourselves in different vessels to experience material physical life in certain ways. Not all of us will enter a humanoid body. We enter other forms to experience. And we create. So one might say, is you got to be kidding me. You're saying that we create the universes. Yes. Not the body. We're talking about pure consciousness, the gods that we are. Collectively, we create it all. Now, it's fun, isn't it interesting that humans, or Homo sapiens, scientists and everything, they look out there with these high projecting telescopes, and they see this, and they see that, and they see a black hole that's flashing, and they see this over here and this over here. But they never stop to go into the spiritual realm and realize that them, all of us, the gods that we are in these bodies, create all of this around us. All of it. Everything. We create every, microparticle that is called life. We create our lives. We create them based upon what influences us, how we perceive things, what we've been taught. And then we apply that to what? What do we apply it to? Life. Creating different things. We bring in certain things. We attract. Like I said, we are just omnipotently powerful, supreme manifesting abundant beings that never die. And while we're in these bodies, we have the power to manifest anything we choose, whenever we choose. But you see, it's that the ego mind is there in yesterday and tomorrow all the time, pulling at you, trying to convince you that, that's just a bunch of garbage. That's, why are you even visiting that? That's not possible. And that's that little feeling that people get when they start talking about these subjects, because they begin to feel uneasy because, they can't be that powerful. We have been taught that we're weak, powerless, can be controlled, that we're stupid and ignorant. And this is just a programming. It's all flimsy. It's like paper mache. Rips real easy. But when we start embracing this, it doesn't have to be all at once, but we start to recognize through our own choosing that that's what this is. This is a grand playground for us gods, is what it really is. And through that, we came here, we incarnate on this planet to enjoy life. So we do. Okay? Yeah, we throw some spice in there. We dice some things up, throw them in there, and we have a recipe in the life that we want to experience. Could be anything. And then what happens is that some of us will catch on to the fact is that I create this so I can experience. So I can learn. Now, since we're divine perfection, and we're the only thing that doesn't change, which is the gods that we are in these bodies, we go to different levels of divine perfection. Always expanding, always growing. Life is about expansion. See, it's interesting. When you realize that you have a species or a civilization, and what is its purpose? To discover what life is, to discover what it is itself, and to flourish and expand and experience. Very few of us have interacted from with off-worlders, and that are from different planetary systems. Many are very afraid of that. If they try to invade my mind, or this, it's the ego mind coming out again. But it's an inevitability that our other brothers and sisters who are gods in their bodies, eventually we will interact, and we will interact on a pretty regular basis. And, it's fascinating to realize that some people have been taught that, hey, you're the only intelligent life in the universe. That's like believing all of this other stuff. You've got to remember that, I emphasize this, is that our ancestors came from bicameralism, which is right and left brain, black and white. You don't rationalize. You believe statues are alive, and you can hear them talking, and you can do, all these things, but you're not conscious. You're not consciously aware. Now, bicameral was supposed to have ended, roughly 2,500, 3,000 years ago. It was supposed to, we became consciously aware as a civilization, as a species on this planet. Now, the interesting thing is that a true test of that, the true test of it, was the vaccines. And how many of us basically didn't evaluate, didn't look at what we were putting in our bodies. And so 5.7 billion of us went ahead and got the vaccine. That's bicameralism. Okay? Even if you have an authority like the one this country has had for the last 4 years, you realize that that authority is fake, phony, and false, yet a lot of people believe that it's real. See what I mean? They believe it's real. And so they're guided and directed by that influence that no matter how ridiculous this leadership appeared or what it did, they believed that it was real. Now, many of us looked at it and laughed because we did not believe. See, the power of believing is astronomical. You create what you believe, which can be very, very delicate, to say the least. This is why it is imperative that we make a decision to discover for ourselves on a daily basis, second to second. And we learn about who and what we are. We know what our ego mind is, what its purpose is. We begin to master it, and we also know that by mastering our thoughts, we are setting ourselves truly free. If you believe in something, okay, just you believe whatever it may be, but you believe in it, and nobody can redirect you, period. You're not going to budge off of it. You believe a certain thing, that's it. You will live that belief. And many of us, through many different lifetimes, have done just that. We live a belief, and we stick to it. Now, it doesn't matter how much information is put in front of us that tells us that, no, this isn't real. This is fake, phony, and false. It's not real. Oh, yes, it is. I believe it is. And that's the diversity of this civilization, of this species. A lot of us believe in many different ways, many different directions, and we walk along and create. If you were walking and you came to say a canyon or a big drop way down, say the Grand Canyon, and you're standing on this edge, but you can see the other side, if you believed strongly enough, with not a smidgen of doubt, that you could walk across that chasm and not be harmed at all, you would materialize some kind of firm footing so that you could traverse across that canyon. But 99% of the time, the ego mind kicks in and then you have doubt and then it's all over. The fear alone contains us. And that's not real either. So all this stuff that we experience, since we're in emotional bodies, right? Many of us try to hide our emotions. Many of us try to suppress our emotions. We do everything we can to be proper, is to be accepted by this society, which is the human psyche. And we bend over backwards to please the society. Because we want to be accepted, we want to be loved, and we want to be nurtured, and we want to be protected by society. Isn't that interesting? But more and more of us are saying it's better. See, actually the black sheep or the maverick is a good thing because you go out on your journey to discover who and what you are. You're not going out there to discover who and what you are. You're going within. And that doesn't really blend with the human psyche, which is the society on this planet. Right? say, oh, they're what was the word they used to use? New Ager. They're a New Ager. Those people are crazy. And then you get to the point where you're not even concerned about what other people think or say about you. You just aren't. It doesn't register anymore. And when you do that, you do it on a consistent basis, you're free. You're absolutely free. That's a huge accomplishment. But yet, all of us eventually will experience that accomplishment. Doesn't mean everybody. You know, it's funny because this is the most profound, powerful transition of a species of this planet ever. And remember, this planet's about 60 billion years old. It's not 3 or 4. You can imagine all the civilizations that have come and gone. But it's focusing on something. Now it's interesting. It's not to get. It's not to get. It's to experience. Everything is temporary. We know that this life is temporary. It will end, so to speak. And us gods leave the body, and then usually we don't know what we are, who we are, so we follow a light and we start the process all over again. It's very crucial that we discover who and what we are before we leave these bodies. We carry that with us. That is super, super important. Because do we know who and what we are when we leave the body? No, we really don't. Many of us still believe we're in the body. And we're not. And many of us, how do we know? Who taught us? Who showed us? Who really taught us on who and what we are? Nobody did. So it's kind of like on a wing and a prayer. We just kind of bump into things and we discover this and we discover that. And then we start to open the book and go, holy moly. But I believe, see, every one of us gods in physical form are super powerful and we affect the universe. That's why you've seen so many times throughout the past on this planet, one being directing millions. One being directing millions. Right? Why? Because they believe in that one being. They believe, see, which empowers that being to become even more powerful because they believe. What about people that keep, adamantly saying, oh, that's not true, and they keep saying that, no, I don't believe that, I don't believe that. But eventually it comes full circle and it becomes at least real in their eyes. They say, well, okay, so I missed that one because this is real. But when you know that you're directing this ship, you're directing the ship, and you're not sure yet because, maybe you think you have a busted rudder or your steering mechanism is messed up and it's really hard to turn or navigate. Then you start realizing that the biggest resistance is you. Resisting the God that you are, resisting the emotions that you are with that body. Resisting happiness, even though you strive for it. Resisting joy, resisting peace, even though you strive for it. And that's why it's the whole ball to embrace it all. Who and what you are, the things that you believe are, I don't really like those things about myself. You embrace those, you love every single aspect of you. Genuinely, not superficially. Ego mind is superficial. Heart mind is deep within. And with everybody with so many different teachings, that's a real challenge, isn't it? You know, trained from kindergarten to believe a certain way. You're just mostly your whole life. And then you on your own begin to discover that, hey, this stuff that I've been taught is not real. It's fake. It's false. It's phony. And people are discovering that every single moment on this planet. That all this stuff, not to be angry about it, it's actually to be ecstatic about it because you're discovering it. You find out, hey, this is phenomenal. Now it makes things much clearer that you discover that I am not this body. I won't be in this body forever. I'm not this name. I'm none of this stuff. It's like I've said several times, we put it on, we wear it, we get comfortable with it, right? We're identified with it. And we experience a lot with it. And then eventually, we leave it. And we leave everything else behind. Everything you strive for, everything that you feel you've accomplished, every great feat in your eyes in this life, all of it is left here. Isn't that amazing? You get people that they climb a ladder, they do this, and then they do things that aren't too great to get certain places, just so that they can feel through the ego mind powerful. Right? And then all that, and then all of a sudden they're out of the body and all that's gone. Every one of us takes nothing with us. Zero. As the immortal gods that we are. It's like we lease or temporarily inhabit these physical material forms, and then we guide them. This is the ideal process. We guide them for us to discover that we're the true God, the true consciousness in this body. We are the ones that are guiding these bodies. We are the ones that are directing them. Some of the things that we ignore about these bodies is that we don't realize that we can heal these bodies. Easy peasy, piece of cake. We just don't know how to do it. But yet all of the pathways have been laid out. You, in order to get to that place, you commit to yourself that you are going to what? Master the ego mind. From the heart mind, using the heart mind, you will master the ego mind. And once you master the ego mind, you will be well on your way of mastering your thoughts. And then once you do that, you're free. Truly so. Then you'll realize that you're an omnipotently powerful, supreme manifesting abundant being that never dies. And that you're here temporarily to enjoy this life, this material physical life. And you can create anything you desire. You can manifest anything you want. Doesn't that vibrate deep within us? I mean, to be authentic instead of pain and suffering? Really, mostly. We've done that gig so many times. I mean, we could do it blindfolded. We could do it with our ears plugged, blindfolded, and our mouth taped. Easy peasy, piece of cake. Now we're moving and accelerating at a very high velocity into the comprehension of that we are gods in the body, pure consciousness. The body is temporary, that we are the master and commander. So that we can create, we experience, we create, and then we experience it. We manifest because we can. Every single one of us can have the life we dream of. Period. And what's the power that directs that? What is it? What is it? What's the power that directs that? You, the God that you are in that body. You're the power that directs it all. Nothing is happenstance. Yeah, we'll say that. Oh, this is just a coincidence. That word is used. Basically, coincidence, we use that word, we created that word to explain things away we don't understand. That's it. You're in a situation, you're a group of people you're talking, oh, that was just a coincidence anyway. See how easy it is, and it kind of blows it off? And coincidence doesn't exist. Everything is finite. Everything is perfectly engineered. Even in your eyes, it may not be, but it is. Our lives are perfect exactly the way they are in this very moment. It's just how we view things and what we believe. We're joining in meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. When you realize that this 3D physical world does not determine your levels of happiness, you will easily discover real freedom, total joy naturally at your core. So stop thinking that happiness will find you when you manifest everything you want in your dream life. It's available right now. Just expect and demand nothing and be grateful for everything. The way to do this is to fully be silent by sitting in stillness. Be still as if you were a beautiful, giant, serene lake without any waves or ripples. Relax into your deepest stillness for just 3 minutes in a row. Now, watch how joy naturally bubbles up from your innermost being. Nothing is required from you anymore. Just revel in the bliss that is already present in each new still moment. In each grateful moment, you can just say, ah, and notice how effortlessly you can live your life in joy and sweet, boundless bliss. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We'll return here January 17, 2025, Friday. A little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call and all the rest. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on within you, nor outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.